Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Hello folks, welcome to the lobby. As usual, if you've got any comments or predictions you'd like to make for tonight's races, then stick them in the chat and I'll do my best to read out them as they filter through. Hello folks, welcome to the lobby. So we have round 8 and 9 of Newton League and SRGL, round 8 in Baku, and round 9 in Hungary. So as the lobby is loading up, I can update everybody on, well, no, it's not loading up, but you know what I mean, everyone's filtering through. I can update everybody on the championship stand-ins after the last races which we had in Austin, Texas and Monza, I think it was last time out. So Monza was won by Traw and USA was won by VDV. So good couple of races in the wet, and it's made the championship stand-ins really tight and closed the pack up quite considerably. So we've got quite a tasty battle for the championship at this early stage. Of course, all things can change over the course of the season, but it's quite interesting to track everyone's progress as the races progress. So we currently have a tie for P1 in the championship. VDV and Infamous on 97 points each. VDV in the P1 spot by virtue of having 2 race wins, whereas Infamous has not won any races but picked up a truckload of podiums so far, 5 podiums so far this season. So they're on 97, then Traw, after picking up a win and a podium in the last 2 races, he's in P3 on 90, so just 7 points behind. And then not too far behind is Balix on 85 points. So the top 4 in the championship separated by just 12 points at this early stage. So it's really shaping up to be a tight battle all season long. Then in P5 we have Chinchilla on 58 points, picking up a good whack of points in the last 2 rounds. Cervilliers, who missed last week and is also missing tonight, is on 54 points in P6. Then we'll have Harry Bix, who picked up his first podium last week. He's on 47 points. Simps on 42, who I think picked up a podium as well. And then Aces versus Kins in P9 on 40 points. And then we have 3 drivers tied on 36 points. Eskimo, Mystic and Dacunia. Eskimo head and nose trio based on the number of DNFs for each driver. So Eskimo with the 1 DNF to his name, Mystic with 3 and Dacunia with 4. And then we've got Desert Rat on 27 points, Spaceman on 19, Thomas, who joined the league a couple of weeks ago, first races last week, picked up 12 points. He's in P15, and then we have 2 regular drivers. Flamour, who hasn't. Flamour was present for the first couple of races, but hasn't showed for the last few weeks. He hasn't got any points on the board yet, and neither has Shermanator, who hasn't raced yet due to injury, but I'm been assured that he will be racing fairly soon. So get well soon, Shermanator. Hope you can join the battle, as it were. And we've got a few full-time slots available due to drivers having to not being able to commit to the full-time schedule for Newton League. So we've got a Mercedes, Red Bull, and an Aston Martin vacated at this present stage. And we have our reserve driver standings, which is separate from the main full-time driver standings, and that's headed by Casto in the Mercedes, who has 106 points to his name. Then we have Barry Kruger on 14, Itchy Clay on 6, Rob on 3, and then Ure on 0, who DNF'd in one of the races last time out. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes lead the way on 146 points. And then again, behind Mercedes, it's pretty tight, all from P2 down to P8, I would say. So pretty a bit of a clusterfuck in the midfield. So we got AlphaTauri in second place on 108, Alfa Romeo on 100, Ferrari on 99, Williams 97, Red Bull 85, Haas 83, McLaren 78, and then we've got Alpine and Aston Martin on 55 and 54 respectively, rounding out the constructors' standings. So that's the state of play heading into tonight. Just update you on who's racing tonight. So Infamous will not be joining us for Baku, sadly, as he's running a little bit behind, but he will be here for Hungary. So not great news in terms of his championship missing a race, but Infamous is quick and talented enough, I'm sure, that any loss of points will be mitigated throughout the season. But it gives the opportunities for the likes of VDV to maybe pull ahead, Balax to close the gap, Troll to close the gap, and some of the other drivers as well. We have Casto in as a reserve again tonight in the Mercedes. We've also got Harvey in the Haas, who's jumping in for Mystic tonight, and Sebdek in the Alpine for Spaceman. So we've got 3 reserve drivers in tonight. So we have a grid of 14 for Baku, which will become 15 for Hungary when Infamous joins the lobby later tonight. So Scientist here calling the action for tonight. And next week as well. And then I'm not going to be here for the weekend of the 2nd of September. So, but let's hope we have a couple of good races tonight. Last 2 were done in the wet, so let's see what conditions we get in Baku and Hungary. Some might prefer the rain, some might prefer, in particular in the likes of Hungary, which is quite enjoyable in these wet conditions. Baku less so, I think, because of the proximity of the walls, but I'm looking forward to tonight's races. Like I say, guys, if you got any predictions, I haven't been keeping an eye on the chat because I've been looking at the Discord for the standings, but again, if you've got any predictions for tonight's races, who do you think is going to be on the podium for Baku? Who do you think is going to be on the podium for Hungary? Drop that in the chat. And of course, you guys have the opportunity to vote for your community driver of the day, who you think will put in the best performance tonight based on the action. Hi Seb Deck, thanks for letting me know my mic's okay. Good luck tonight to everybody in the field. If you happen to be tuning into the stream whilst preparing yourselves for the potential hell that is Baku. I quite enjoy Baku actually. It's not the worst street circuit on this game. So just waiting a few more minutes. I think there's a couple of people still to join the lobby. Good to see Desert Rat back after missing the last couple of races, so he'll be keen to claw his way up the standings with some points tonight. I kind of feel for the likes of VDV and Balix and Infamous as well. Come to think of it, majority of the points for their teams have been earned by themselves, and they don't have a teammate to help them in the Constructors' Championship. So I'm hoping that we can maybe try and get them a teammate at some stage during the season. It just goes to show how well they've been doing, considering where their teams are based in the standings. So, and of course, this also comes into play with the global championship that exists between Einstein and Newton League. So the Einstein League, which runs on Friday, of course, has its own championship, and we have a global constructors championship across both leagues. So it makes it, although it gives it more impetus for drivers from the Einstein League to jump in and help out their teams. So Casto, for example, Harvey tonight, Sebdek tonight, we're all racing the Einstein League. They're jumping into their team car as the Hulkenbergs of this world to help the cause. And of course, the global championship, we just tally up the points from Einstein and Newton for each team. And I think that's currently being the lead of that is I think it's currently Mercedes that are leading that championship at the moment. I can have a quick look at the Discord to see if it's actually quite close. If I can find it. There it is. Yeah, Mercedes lead that on 235 points. Then Haas on 196. Alfa Romeo on 185. Aston Martin 176. Red Bull 173. Williams 170. So pretty tight there. Ferrari 161. McLaren up 149. AlphaTauri 147. Alpine 129. So quite tight at this early stage. And everyone's now in the lobby and we're heading off to Baku. So we will not have a formation lap, as I understand it. I don't think the sound glitch that's associated with that has been fixed by Codemasters yet. And again, I'm not sure. I think I read somewhere online that the formation lap and the warming up of the tyres only benefits the host of the lobby if they're on the grid. It means that they're the only driver that has warm tyres. I might be wrong on that. Completely could be wrong, but I'm sure I read that somewhere. But the sound glitch is the number one main issue that affects all the drivers on the grid. So we have that turned off for the foreseeable. So the first of 25% races, and we've got some clouds in the sky. but no threat of rain at this present in time. We got the intel from folks down on the grid last time out as to whether or not the races would be fully wet for the duration, but at the moment it looks like a dry start to begin with. Could be dry all the way. I think it. Well, let's wait and see as we stare at this green pillar in the garages. So I think, I can't remember who's on pole position for this race as the game loads up. Aces versus Kings is on pole, and he's joined on the front row by Eskimo, as Thomas isn't able to race tonight. So let's get this show on the road, folks. We have 5 lights, and we're underway in Baku. Oh, and we've got a couple of spinners at the back, Harry and Dukunya, and there's a big dive from a Red Bull and contact between lots of drivers there, and that did not go to plan for a lot of reasons. And we've got a disqualification for Harry for parking on the start-finish straight, it looked like. Let's get the telemetry all sorted out here. The tyre delta, the telemetry up. You know you guys like the telemetry, the full track map, the interval, that is all good. And we're underway, and it looks like we've got a safety car, possibly a virtual safety car at this early stage. Now we've got a lot of penalties dished out for drivers, a lot of 5-second penalties that could be for collisions under the safety car after the yellow flags are waved. 5 seconds for Aces, Balax, Chinchilla and Simps. Now, from what I was a little bit distracted by what was happening at the back between the Haas and the Alpine, but it looked to me that Balax went steaming in with another car into turn 1, and there might be some damage to some of these guys, so let's have a quick look. Simps at the moment is leading, and there's something happened to King Eskimo because he was starting on the front row and he's fallen well down the pack, as his Aces versus Kings, who was on reverse grid pole. So we've got Simps, Traw in P2, Chinchilla is completely missing his front wing in P3, so he'll need to pit. BDV in P4, Balax, front wing intact in P5, but has the penalty, so he'll expect to see a lot of these guys jumping into the pits to serve those 5-second penalties now. And these might be contested at the end of the race in the incident reports unless they get served. And we've got Dukunya missing his front wing completely. And Simps in the pits, damaging his car in the process. Traw's in the pits. I think everyone is going to file into the pits here, not surprisingly. Oh, and there's Sebdek and Casto there getting side by side in the pits. Let's have a quick look. So Traw has jumped Simps, who must have picked up damage on pit entry, and that has cost him the net lead to Traw now, who is in the prime position now in P1. BDV also jumped Simps in the pits, so that was costly from Simps on pit entry, losing front wing. Harvey up to P4 from the back, Sebdek P5, Balax down to P6, so everyone has got rid of the 5-second penalties that were dished out at the beginning of the race there. But of course, and Eskimo has taken the escape road. Is that term? Yes, it's very easy to do that coming out of the pits on cold tyres as well. Very easy to overshoot that corner there. And Eskimo, and I think there was another car that did the same thing. And not the best start for Eskimo, having started on the front row. But now we can sort of take stock of what happened. It looked like there was cars going 3 to 4 wide into that first corner, and that's never usually a good thing. As they come through the castle section, Traw leading the way behind the safety car. So Casto, let's have a look at the tyre situation. Let's see who's on mediums and softs. So just the one driver on the softs, and that's Aces. He is the only driver. Everyone has made a pit stop. Aces is taking a bit of a gamble here. Maybe he must have started on the medium tyres from pole, so his only option really to avoid using the hard was to stick on the softs and maybe hope for another safety car, because they're not going to get to the end. If he does get to the end on those, I'll be very surprised. But he will be very quick compared to those around him. Safety car in this lap, so that was a very short safety car. I guess with the whole field all bunched up at the start, I'd rather we get this underway than have we stuck behind the safety car from the lap. So now, when will Traw drop the hammer and floor it? Everyone warming up their medium tyres, only Aces on the soft, so we'll keep an eye on Aces to see if he makes any gain through the field. Traw is going now. I'd like a better camera angle, please. That one's better. VDV also is staying in the slipstream and is getting a good restart here. Cars weaving in the back. Traw leads into turn 1, followed by VDV, followed by Simps, Harvey, Sebdek, and Balax, and then we've got Chinchilla. Now let's look at Aces. And Aces is immediately getting traction. Cars in front of Aces warming up their tyres. I think that was Balax there warming up, getting some temperature in there. Aces thinks better of it for the time being. Single file through the 90-degree corners here. Patience is a virtue in tracks such as Baku. No change up front. Oh, and Balax has spun. And that's a loss of positions for Balax, unfortunately for him. Might have clipped the curb on the exit, or just spun the rears on traction. So Balax has is back down to P12 now. So that's a position gain for Chinchilla, and we've got Casto and Desert Rats exchanging positions in P8 and 9. Casto getting through, and Aces has been dropped a little bit by Chinchilla, so he's maybe not got those softs working best for him, and he's understeering quite heavily through that corner there, and he's under pressure from his not full-time teammate but reserve teammate Casto. Let's have a look at further up as VDV closed the gap to Traw. It's very tight between the top 3. Make that top 4 with Harvey join the fray, and Casto getting the move on his teammate Aces down into turn 1, and that is nicely done from Casto. So not the restart Aces would have hoped for, being on the soft tyres compared to those around him. Oh, and that was for Desert Rat getting a bit squirrely on the throttle there. Let's jump back up. We've got Dacunia. Oh, Dacunia getting past Desert Rat now, and that looked like a car steaming off, and it's Aces down the escape road. And Balax manages to get past Aces because of that error from Aces versus Kings. So, not the restart Aces would have liked. But look at this, we've got a couple of seconds separating the top 5 here, and we've got a yellow flag in the castle section. It's a Ferrari, and Desert Rat is DNF'd. Something happened to Casto as well by the look of it, because Casto has been overtaken by Dacunia and Eskimo, and we've got another full course safety car, and Aces will be clapping his hands at that so he can put on the mediums. He's got nothing to lose really, because he's in last after Desert Rat in the Ferrari in the castle section, shades of Charles Leclerc from 2019. Unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. So, will anyone make a gamble for the softs? The leaders are staying out at this stage. Royal Harvey is in. So Harvey is going to go for it. He's going to put the softs on. 7 laps or so in the soft tyres. Why not? Why not? Balix is in as well. Balix thinking the same thing. What's he got to lose? He's down in P10. Got nothing to lose by putting on the soft tyres. Aces. Does Aces go on the softs? A fresh set of softs for Aces. Maybe he's got a little bit of damage from going down the escape road. Aces is on the softs as well, so I guess nothing to lose for those guys. So the first safety car looked like it was brought out because of Harry not getting off the line by the look of it and being disqualified for basically not moving off the starting line. So that was probably what the first safety car was for, and then the second safety car coming out for Desert Rats DNF through the infamous castle section here in Baku. So we might see a little bit of debris. Nope, it's all been cleared up by the marshals. Well done, boys and girls. So now we need to pay attention to Harvey, Balix and Aces now. The track's rubbered in a little bit more, maybe that's why Aces was struggling a little bit. Not enough rubber laid down for those softs to work. Or just didn't get into the groove on the restart. So let's see what Harvey, Balix and Aces can do on the soft tyres. And I think they should get to the end. We might see the safety car in this lap. Everyone's all bunched up again. Looks like we're going to at least have one more lap. So safety car a little bit inconsistent in terms of its decision making. Sorry, I correct that. Codemasters/EA. So we've got another lap under the safety car. VDG has disconnected from the session. I don't know if I can send him an invite. I don't think it's within my power to do that. Unfortunately for VDV. He's ghosted at the moment. Hopefully he can rejoin. Nobody else has made a pit stop. But actually there is a pit stop for Balix. Did Balix pick up damage behind the safety car? Either that or he just wants to put on another fresh set of soft tyres. So I mean, he's caught up to the field already, so it doesn't look like he had damage. If so, we missed that. But that could be... I think the only reason he would have done that was he maybe got damage. Maybe clipped the wall, or clipped another back... Well, he wouldn't have clipped the car, because it would have been a penalty for him and another driver. So he might have clipped the wall, and in doing so has had front wing damage, and either that, or he just fancies, you know what, I want an even fresher set of softs compared to those in front. So maybe he's done some intel and thinks that the tyre deg around this track's pretty bad for the softs, so why not put on a even fresher pair of boots. Okay, so they all come filing through the castle section again, and hopefully this is the last of the safety cars. So we have Troll from BDB, who has still disconnected. And again, not within my power to send invites by the look of it. Simps in P3, Sebdek P4, Chinchilla P5, Eskimo in P6. There's the race control message. Safety car in this lap. Casto P7, Pecunia P8, Harvey 9, Aces 10, Balix P11 of the 11 runners left in this race. Desert at DNF. Harry Beck's disqualified at the race start. So let's cut back to VDV. Has he rejoined? No, he hasn't. He's currently being penetrated by Simps, and this is actually going to benefit Troy. He's got a buffer effectively to the ghosted car, but you can see Simps is going right up alongside, and Troy floors it now, and VDV And this is benefiting Troll hugely because VDV's Ghost means that VDV's managed to pull out a second gap, and there's a dive down the inside from the Ferrari and a McLaren, and that's a Ferrari in the wall, and that's Chinchilla. Chinchilla went sideways into the wall. Remarkably, it looks like he's kept his front wing. Maybe lost an end plate or two. But VDV, you could see, falling down the order because of his Ghost. And look at this. 4 free wide, and there's a tap from Mercedes, and that sends the Alpine into the escape road, and the Haas has lost its front wing. That's Harvey. I think that was it. And Aces has been spun round. It was Aces that tapped the back of the Alpine of D'Acunha, and D'Acunha's retired, and Aces is into the wall with no front wing, no grip, and Balax has benefited hugely from this up into P5. Incredible. D'Acunha has retired from the race. He's down the escape road. We don't have another safety car yet. Sebdek up into P3 now. Castro P4. Balax from P11 up to P5 within a few corners. Incredible. Harvey's got damage. Eskimo in P7. Chinchilla P8 with damage. VDV ghosted. Aces has got damage surely. And VDV has finally managed to join. So let's hope he can recover some positions due to the connection issues. So Troll though really benefited from that. Ghosted VDV. Nothing anyone else could do about it. And that's allowed him to get the jump on Simps, who's in P2. Sebdek up to P3. Casto a couple of seconds behind in P4. Balax P5. Harvey will come into the pit surely to repair the damage to his Haas. It looked like he got clipped into the wall, or he touched the wall. Chinchilla will pit as well. Sure. Oh no, Chinchilla's staying out. Eskimo's pitting, so Eskimo's caught up, I think, in the 4 free car wide battle with Aces. Aces is staying out, and he's carrying on with the end plate damage. That's rather bold of him. Harvey getting the front wing change. VDV. Oh, VDV's ghosted again, and his mechanics are putting on the hard tyres just to compound his misery. Eskimo back out on the softs, and this field, because of all these incidents on track, the field is spread out a bit, and that's a Mercedes in the wall. Aces has lost his front wing entirely now, so he'll pit. It's worth carrying on, guys, because the points pay you down to P15, and even if you finish P10, you still get 6 points. But now, let's have a look at the field have closed up all of a sudden from P1 to P5. Around about a second and a half between each driver. Tross still leading, led for much of this race, really from the beginning. Simpson P2, Sebdek in P3, reserving tonight. Casto also reserving P4, Balax in P5 on the softs, everyone else on the mediums in front. Chinchilla in P6, despite the crashes that he had earlier in the race. And then Aces, Harvey. Harvey will surely catch Aces, who's got no front wing. VDV on the hards will definitely not make any inroads. In fact, Eskimo will probably catch him as Tross hits the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And Tross stands to gain the most of the early championship challengers here in P1. Infamous not racing in Baku, and VDV having connection issues. And of course Balax as well, going to pick up a truckload of points here in his bid for the Newton League title. Simps, I think the gap between Simps and Tross being maintained at 1.1 seconds, both on the mediums. And we've got Aces in the pits, of course, to get rid of the front wing damage and get a fresh one on. VDV flies past, he's back connected, but of course is on those horrible hard tyres, and Eskimo beginning to catch him. So VDV off the place, but he'll be gutted because he was net P2 at the time through no fault of his own. Oh, and Balax has clipped the wall there, ghosted ever so slightly, and is that damage for Balax? It looked like he clipped the ball as we were just flicking through the drivers there. He might have end plate damage. It's not visible to my eye. Oh, yes it is. It's on the left-hand side of his right wing. So he's going to suffer from grip, and he's very close to the wall there, Balax. he might want to carry on. There's only 4 laps to go. He's got a bit of a decent gap to Chinchilla in P6, so he might carry on with that. Castro now beginning to catch Sebdek. That's the closest battle on track. He's within the DRS of Sebdek. And Sebdek has got around about 20% less ERS compared to him. And look how quickly Castro caught up to Sebdek in the Alpine. As they head into turn 2. 90-degree left-hander. DRS open. Sebdek using the ERS to defend. He's got good straight line speed as Sebdek. I don't think Castro's going to put a bold move down the inside. It's reserve versus reserve, and Sebdek taking a chunk of curb, and that destabilises his car, and he spins round, and Castro says thanks very much. As Harvey says the fastest lap, Sebdek reversing. Do not get disqualified for reversing. Nice donut there, Sebdek. Well recovered. Balak's up to P4. Chinchilla up to P5. So Balak, despite having the front wing damage, is still soldiering on and has gained a position through Sebdek's error. But you could see that Sebdek took a big chunk of curb there. That upset the car. It bottomed out slightly, and that sent him into the spin. And now Castro is on to the final step on the podium. Now VDV, I think, has got past Harvey somewhere on track. Missed that somewhere. VDV has managed to get past Harvey. And Harvey's got wing damage, that's probably why. So Harvey, having set the fastest lap, has now got wing damage, and VDV manages to recover a place. Shaw has managed to extend the gap now to Simps, and it's looking pretty comfortable for the AlphaTauri man. Simpson P2, Castro P3, Balak's P4. Let's stick back with Harvey. He's not going to be able to challenge VDV with that damage to his front wing. He will surely pit and maybe go for the fastest lap on the final lap on fresh soft tyres, if he has any left, of course. Pretty sure he does. No penalties for any drivers so far. Not a penalty heavy track, Baku. There's a couple of corners where you can easily pick up a penalty. The tight hairpin heading down into the castle section is one. And Harvey is actually going to stay out with his wing damage, so he's doing what Balak is doing. Doesn't want to lose out on P9 and 10, and Eskimo's in the pits, so Eskimo maybe has damage somewhere. And yeah, he does. Eskimo's got front wing damage. So now a set of softs on for the Iceman Eskimo. He's the definitive Iceman now that Kimi's out, and Harvey is spun. And not clear if that was through DRS contact with VDV. And Aces has had an issue. I think he's picked up damage again. So Harvey maybe understeered into the wall with his wing damage. And you can see, you see he's lost about 6 seconds to VDV. So apologies for missing that. As I was saying, Eskimo is the definitive Iceman in F1 now because Kimi's retired. Oh, and Eskimo, as I say that, Eskimo is DNF'd into the wall. Oh man, that's unfortunate, mate. Unlucky. I think he simply understeered into the wall, and that could bring out the safety car. Oh well, 1 lap to go. Probably not. I'll be surprised. It'll be a... Well, let's not go there. Let's not mention Abu Dhabi 21. Oops, I already did. Anyway, we're now down to 9 runners and riders. And we're back to green racing. And again, the field are all spread out. Castro's catching Simps, but he might get within the DRS on the final lap. Let's keep an eye on this battle then, as we head towards the end of this action-packed, eventful race here in Baku. And yes, look, Castro's 0.9, 0.8 of a second, so he's going to get the DRS on Simps down into turn 1. It's all about, well, Simps has built up saved his battery, hasn't he? Look at that. He's got almost 3 times the amount of ERS compared to Casto, so Simps is going to be defending for his life down into turn 1 and down into turn 3 on the second DRS straight. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's ride on board with Casto. 0.3 of a second. Simps, it's going to be very difficult for Simps to defend this. Casto with 20% ERS. Simps beginning to use his battery now to defend from Casto. Simps weaving to try and break the toe. And he got a really good exit on that left right hander, and look how close Casto is now. Simps saving all the ERS, and we've got looks like a lapped car ahead of Simps. Casto now is going to have to go for broke here. He's got one more chance. Oh, and Chinchilla and Balax. Let's ride on board here. Side by side, Balax has the inside for the corner. Chinchilla down the escape road into the wall. Oh, glitching. That was unusual. But Balax and Chinchilla side by side there. Balax got the better of Chinchilla, had the inside for the corner and maintains P4, but it looks like Chinchilla's managed to catch up with Balax due to the front wing damage, and Chinchilla getting a bit squirrely there on the throttle, and that's allowed Sebdek to close up again. So this might be a tasty battle to watch down to the line, but let's jump back on board with Casto, who's flying through the castle section. Look how close he is behind the McLaren of Simps. Traw looks to have this race in the bag, 2.5 seconds ahead. I'm going to pick up his second win of the season in Newton League. We'll follow this battle to the line, and then we'll jump back to Balax, Chinchilla and Sebdek, because there's a potential free car battle there for P4. And look at Casto side by side with Simps. Simps has still got a lot of ERS to play with, and that might help him here. And you know what, I think Simps has played it brilliantly here. Casto with the DRS, but he doesn't have the ERS to help him over the line. Oh, look at that. Less than a tenth. Now let's jump back to P4. Traw wins the race. Chinchilla don't think has enough to catch Balax, and I don't think Sebdek has got enough battery to catch up with Chinchilla. So Balax, with half a front wing left, manages to hold on to P4 ahead of Chinchilla and Sebdek. Brilliant drive from those guys. Whew. That got very spicy at the end there. VDV disappointed, surely will be disappointed with having disconnected, but at least he got some points in the end. P7 for VDV, and that's 9 points for VDV, so that puts him on 106 points. Balax's 14 points for P4 will take him up to 99. Harvey finishes P4 and is doing donuts for the crowd, and Aces will come across the line to finish last out of the 9 runners left, and will be on pole for the second race in Hungary. Whew. Harvey with driver of the day. Well, I'm not sure about that, Codemasters, but there we go. No offense, Harvey. I guess it's down to positions gained, but then Sebdek finished P6. Maybe the fastest lap got it for you. Okay, so let's round out the results. Traw finishes in P1. I forgot to play the podium animation. Apologies for skipping it. I usually leave that running. So Traw finishes in P1, followed by Simps in P2. Casto in P3, just missing out on second by less than a tenth of a second. Balax with a hard-fought drive to P4. Chinchilla and Sebdek couldn't catch him in the end. P5 and P6 for the two Germans. VDV in P7. Harvey in P8 with the fastest lap, gets an extra point. And then Aces versus Kings, the last of the classified finishers in P9. Your DNF's Eskimo understeered into turn 3. Wrecked the suspension. Dacunia went down the escape road, I think after contact with Aces, I believe. And DNF'd there. Desert Rat DNF'd into the wall in the castle section, and Harry Bix classified as DNF here, but actually was disqualified by the game for being stationary on the grid by the looks of it, and it looked like Acuna was caught up behind him there. So that might get reviewed in the incident reports later, but we'll wait and see. So, by my calculation, heading into Hungary, VDV will be leading on 106 points, followed by Balix on 99, Infamous on 97, who didn't race. In fact, Troll will actually be leading the championship, come to think of it, with 21 points, 111 points for Troll, VDV 106, Balix 99, Infamous 97. So again, very tight between those four. So there we go. So just doing my quick math in my head there. That's not including awards for Driver of the Day, the Community Driver of the Day. Remember to vote for your Community Driver of the Day for Baku. I think I can think of a few drivers there who deserve that award. And congratulations to Traw for winning the race, Simpson Castro for the podium. We're going to take a wee break for about 5-10 minutes, and we will resume then. Okay, so we're going 25 past, so it's 4 minutes time. And if you're just tuning into the stream, welcome. We've just finished the race in Baku, we're now into Hungary. Feel free to leave comments, subscribe to my channel if you want. I only really post commentary and the odd race that I do now and again. not done some live race recordings in a while. I'm doing a 2-player co-op with a fellow friend of mine, so I might put up some of that if I can be bothered. But yeah, I don't know. I'm too afraid to do so because this game is as buggy as it is at the moment. Doing a live stream of a race that I'm in a 2-player co-op is potentially a recipe for disaster. But it is what it is. So for this race, Aces will be on pole, then Harvey, VDV, Subditch, Chinchilla, Alex, Casto, Sips, Traw. And then it will be Eskimo, Takunya, Desert Rat, and Harry. Infamous, I've been told, will not be joining us for Hungary as he's not going to make it back, unfortunately. So, really sorry for that, Infamous, but hope you'll be back stronger next week, mate. So, again, 25% race around Hungary, that's 18 laps. And Hungary, a very enjoyable mainstay on the F1 calendar for many, many years, and probably will be, well, maybe not for many years to come, depending on the way that looking at the trajectory F1's on at the moment in terms of going to circuits that are not traditional circuits, and also dictated by money at the moment. So, likes of Las Vegas and Miami, of course, and there's the potential threat towards leaving the Belgian Grand Prix off the calendar, which would be a real shame if that was the case. But yeah, that's the sad state of things. Maybe one day they'll go back to some of the older established circuits like Hockenheim, purpose-built circuits, like Sepang in Malaysia. I mean, it's great that we're potentially going back to Kyalami in South Africa. That'd be great. Which circuit would you like to see on the F1 calendar? Put a comment in and we can maybe discuss that while we're waiting for the lobby to load up. So it looks like we're ready to load up very shortly. Okie doke, here we go. So, Hungary, high downforce circuit, often called by the drivers as Monaco without the walls due to its twisty layout. And for many years it would be considered quite a challenge to overtake on, but as we've seen with the last few Grand Prix in Hungary, with the changes in the regulations and some changes in the weather forecast, overtakes are possible around this track. Obviously, you've got this long straight leading down to turn 1, which is the DRS zone, and then you have the second DRS zone leading down into turn 2, the long hairpin left-hander, where you can make overtakes around the outside as well, and which gives you the inside for the next corner. That's been a very popular overtaking spot for Lewis Hamilton in particular in the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix, which Esteban Ocon won. That'll live long in the memory of that race. And it looks like we're going to have a dry race. So it'll be interesting to see what strategy the guys opt for. Will they all go for the medium tyres to begin with, or start on the softs anticipating an early safety car? The hard tyres are very much a no-go, really, on a track like this, or any of the tracks on a 25%. But let's see as we head to the grid. Again, formation lap will be off for this. And Aces versus Kings will be on pole. Yep. And we have 5 lights and we're underway. Let's get all the stuff up. And we've got a good start for Harvey, but look at that's Septic in the Alpine making a brilliant start. Gets into the lead into turn 1. Followed by Harvey and VDV up into P3 and Aces battling there. Everyone away well. And it's Aces and going down the inside. VDV holds the line for the outside and that gives him the inside for the next corner. But Aces gets the better traction. And we've got a yellow flag, and that is VDV. We missed that on the stream, unfortunately. Sorry about that. So VDV spun round, and we've got Eskimo out the front wing. So Eskimo's picked up damage to and Cunha's slipped down the order into P13. So Sevdek leads the way. Ahead from Hotwell Harvey, from Aces, Castro, and Simps. Field all pretty bunched together. Down to about P10. Harvey, Aces, Harry and Balix all starting on the medium tyres as Sevdek leads the opening lap from Harvey. And we've got Eskimo in the pits to replace his front wing damage. BDB after making a decent start has fallen all the way down to P11. And I'm not sure if there was some side-by-side action with one of the Mercedes boys there. But we've got Aces versus Kings here. A little bit of a train there behind the Viking. And to come through turn 5. Castro gets a good run at Aces and he's being chased by Simps here. All the while this is allowing Harvey and Sebdek to get away. Also in close proximity. Harry's made a good start over to P7, Chinchilla in P8, and that's a spin for Simps, and Simps has made an error there and he's fallen down the order. Thankfully he didn't go into the wall and get damaged, but he was dropped all the way down to P11 now. And we got a yellow flag. What's the yellow flag for? It's for Harry. Harry's spinning round. Not sure if that was contact there. He's managed to keep it going, he's not got damage. Harry drops to P11 now, so Simps and Harry both spinning within a couple of corners of each other. Aces and Castro fighting again like they were in Baku. Castro with the inside line holds on, and we got a yellow flag, and that is, we've got Simps and Desert Rat. We've got Desert Rat and BDB here fighting side by side. And the yellow flag was for Harry and Pecunia. And we've got a Ferrari in the wall, and it's Desert Rat, and that's front wing damage. Again, not sure where the contact was made, but Desert Rat. Harry gets past Desert Rat now. Meanwhile, Sebdek pulling the gap to Harvey up front. 1.7 the advantage. Castro in P3 now clears his teammate Aces, who's now under attack from Traw. Chinchilla now in P6, being chased by Balix in the Red Bull. VDV beginning to chase Balix now. Balix at this stage on the medium tyres, under pressure from the softs of VDV behind. So Takunya, Harry, Desert Rat and Eskimo have fallen behind the chasing pack at this stage. Harvey with the fastest laps, and the mediums are now beginning to come into play. Simps with the fastest lap, further back, hoping to make amends, and we've got a spinner, and that's Harry in sector 3, so Desert Rat will get the place back from Harry. Not having the best of nights tonight is Harry. Sevdek, the gap has been closed from Harvey. Look at this battle here between between Balax and VDV, and Simps is beginning to join the party as well. We got a yellow flag. That is Desert Rat and Harry again. Desert Rat off at turn 1. And now Harvey's gotten to the 1 second delta of Sebdek. But look at Simps. Simps is all over the back of VDV here through the twisty sector 2 section. Hi Captain Jeff, welcome to the stream. VDV running really wide there, careful not to get track penalties. Oh, Simps has touched the back of VDV, that's contact there. And that's caused VDV to go off the track there, and Simps has overtaken VDV. Questionable from Simps there, it has to be said. And VDV is in the pits now. He might have rear wing damage because of that. Or is this a planned pit stop? Either way, and we've got... Oh, and VDV's retired. Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but VDV has DNF'd in the pits. Maybe he had more internet issues that was causing havoc with the lobby, but it didn't appear to be. But that's VDV out of this race. No safety car because he DNF'd in the pits. And while that was happening, Harvey has managed to get past Sebdek. We missed that on stream, unfortunately. But Harvey is now ahead of Sebdek. And Sebdek is now being chased down by Casto. So, quite a lot to unpack there in the... We've got a Ferrari in the wall, Desert Rat again, unfortunately. So, a lot to unpack there in the last few minutes or so. Harvey now leading and has pulled a big gap to Sebdek. 1.7 now. At one stage it was 1.7 from Sebdek to Harvey. And Casto there looking really racy behind Sebdek. He will challenge down into turn 2 with the DRS and the ERS. Yellow flag in sector 2 for the Haas again of Harry. And Casto gets the move done on Sebdek. Reserve versus reserve. That looked fair. Traw in P4 holding station. Just having racing his own race at this stage. Chinchilla is now under attack from Aces versus Kings in the Mercedes. And then there's a little bit of a gap to Balax of around 4.5 seconds, and we've got a yellow flag, and that is a Mercedes, and that is Casto. Casto has spun somewhere, and he's being driven through by Traw in the Alpha Tauri. Was there a collision with Sebdek involved there? Casto and Traw side by side, Casto off the circuit. Aces gets the time penalty, Traw gets Casto with the overtake. And Casto will be fuming at what could have been an error there that led to that, and Casto is going to pit for mediums now. So Sebdek back up into P2, Traw to P3, Casto pitting, looking to get the undercut on Traw maybe. So Balax now under threat from Simps with the DRS. Simps going for the move down into turn 1, side by side between Simps and Balax. Simps gets ahead of Balax, and Balax can be challenged back down the inside. Doesn't have the DRS to help him though. And Simps gets the move done up into P6, but Balax of course will be really quick in the final phase of this race on the soft tyres. So he might well get Simps back later on in this race. Meanwhile, up front, Harvey has pulled a massive gap now to Sebdek. That's extraordinary. It was around about a second or so, a second and a half a lap or so ago, and now it's up to 5.5 seconds, and we've got a yellow flag. Desert Rat again, I'm afraid. Picking up the award for the most spins so far, I think, this evening, unfortunately for him. Sebdek now under threat from Traw. Sebdek is pitting. Now Traw will push to try and get the overcut on Sebdek. Aces. Let's throw Sebdek in. Simps is also in. So Balix will be pushing now to see if he can get past Sebdek in the next Simps in the next round of pit stops. Aces versus Kins, your only driver with a penalty so far for track limits. And we've got Sebdek and that looked like a lapped car of Desert Rat in the thick of it there. And Sebdek and Casto. Casto has actually come out. Oh, and he's pulling the move on Sebdek. Has he come through? Yes, he has. What a move from Casto. So despite that spin, Casto has now got back ahead of Sebdek. And that was the undercut at play there for Casto. That worked a treat for him. So this is the closest battle on track at the moment. And we've got a yellow flag in sector 3, and that is a Haas. And it's Harry again. And lapped by his teammate now, Royal Harvey. And Sebdek picks up a time penalty. That's critical, possibly, for some of the positions in the midfield. Sebdek maybe for the podium as well. Chinchilla up into P2 because we've got a pit stop for Traw in the AlphaTauri, and we got another yellow flag, and that is the Haas of Harry, who's stopped at the side of the track, and looks like he's disconnected, or either way that's going to be a DQ by the look of it. Oh, he's waiting to rejoin the circuit. Nope, he's having a Spinala. Okay. Either way, we've got an AlphaTauri without a front wing, and that's Traw, who just came out of the pits. What has happened there? What on earth has happened there? Traw is completely missing his front wing, and there's a spinner in the background, and that's a Haas. And well, let's just leave that. It's not fair on the other drivers here at the moment. I'm not sure what happened to Traw. But we've now got some more pit stops here. We've got Harry spinning out about on track. And the danger of that is it could sprint out a safety car. And we've got a yellow flag in sector 2. Any yellow flags at this moment being caused by the Haas at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's catch up with what's going on in the race. Harvey's now made his pit stop and is on the soft tyres. Chinchilla is in the pits and is on the mediums. So Chinchilla having a good race here. Aces is staying out on the mediums. He's being chased by Balix here. And Desert Rat has retired from the race, and that could be a safety car. Yellow flags all around the circuit. I'm not sure what Harry's doing, but he's driving rather erratically, it has to be said. And spinning everywhere, damaging his car. Desert Rat is out of the race. And at least we've got a drive-through for Chinchilla, and this is not cool for Chinchilla. We've got a drive-through. That's ruined his race, really. Chinchilla, he was having such a good one up until then, and now the likes of Balix will surely make his pit stop. It looks like a virtual safety car. I mean, I'm sorry, Harry, but if you're do the decent spin and retire from the race, if you're just planning on spinning around, it's not fair on the others racing here. And Balix is going to make the pits, and this has actually worked out beautifully for Aces versus Kings here. And Harry has retired from the session. So, and Chinchilla has got another drive-through penalty, and that is not great for him. That's his race effectively round. Harvey now retakes the lead under the safety car with Castro in P2. Harvey will be, I think, looking to push on and win this race now because he's on the soft tyres under the safety car. Should be a fait accompli really, unless he has an incident. Ace is up into P3, so he's done well out of that. Simps managed to get Ballix in around the pit stops, so I think the safety car maybe came out at the wrong time for Ballix there. Sebdek in P6, Chinchilla in P7, but has, I believe, 2 drive-through penalties to serve. So that will put him way down the order. And then we have Tacunya in P8, recovering well after an incident early on. Traw, I think, is the biggest. The guy who lost the most out of all this because of what looked like wing damage coming out of the pits, and I'm not sure if that was through collision with another car on track or he hit the wall and spun on cold tyres, but he's down in P9 and has a bunch of soft runs in front of him. It's going to be difficult for him to claw his way back up the field. And Eskimo in P10 here, and he'll be happy that the safety car's out because that means he can bunch up to the field. He's around 16 seconds behind Trot at this stage, but within a couple of laps within the next lap or so, he'll claw up to that pack. So we've just got Simps and Castro on the mediums, so they might be quite vulnerable to those on the softs around. So we know that Chinchilla has at least 1 drive-through to serve. Let's have a look at the race director. Yes, so he has 1 drive-through for speed under 2 drive-throughs for both speed and under the safety car. And Ballix actually had a front wing change at his pit stop as well. So I'm not sure where Ballix picked up the wing damage from, but that might explain why he lost out big time to Simps. And all the field have now bunched up, so we're now going to get ready for the restart here in Hungary. 6 laps to go. It's essentially a 5-lapper to the end of the race. TRS activated on lap 16. 15 rather. I can't count. Okay, so Harvey will be leading the field away on the restart in the Haas. Just the only Haas remaining on track. The 2 Mercs behind, McLaren, Red Bull, Alpine, Ferrari, Alpine, AlphaTauri and McLaren. Harvey goes for it now. And Castro actually follows closely behind, and that's a good restart from Castro. And look at Castro, he's going for the move. Reserve versus reserve. Keep it clean, lads. I'm sure you will. And a nice move from Castro there as Harvey comes back at Castro there. Harvey going down the inside. There's contact between the two. Castro spins round and Harvey gets through. But that has cost Castro big time, and Aces versus Kings now. And Simpson's picked up a penalty somewhere. Oh. Who'd be a steward on incidents like that? Anywho, Harvey, for the time being, keeps the lead of the race. Aces in P2, Simps P3, Balix is up to P4. He's managed to get through Sebdek, I believe, or no, he might have been ahead of Sebdek at the time. But Castor, meanwhile, down to P9. He will be fuming over that incident for sure. That'll all come out in the wash later. So Balix at the moment is going to gain at least a couple of positions on Aces and Simps if he keeps the gap to those two guys, but he's under pressure from Sebdek here. Chinchilla has still not served either of his two drive-through penalties here, and maybe he's leaving it to the last minute. Captain Jeff on the stream says, Castro upset? Nah. Wow. So we've got a nice battle here between Dacuna, Traw and Chinchilla, with Castro not far behind, an Eskimo as well, looking to join the party. Of course, Dacuna might want to just hold off, and because he'll know that Chinchilla has that drive-through to serve. We'll cut back to the battle of the lead shortly. Now, this is looking pretty tight here. Simps is all over the back of Aces by the look of it in the mini-map. Now let's see if Chinchilla pulls off into the pit lane here, and that allows Dacuna to go free. And yes, Chinchilla is in the pits to serve his drive-through. Let's cut back to the lead. Harvey's pulled the Delta. Aces versus Kings. Simps with the DRS. We've got a yellow flag in the pit lane. What has happened to Dacuna? Did Dacuna spin on the final corner? He's spinning again on the start-finish line. Was there an incident involving Traw, Casto and Eskimo? We'll find out probably later on, but that's unfortunate for Dacuna. I seem to be cursing these drivers whenever I jump on board with them. Simps is all over the back of Aces here, holding on to P2 for dear life at the moment. Both of them have 3-second penalties. The more they squabble, the more they allow Balix and Sebdek to close the gap, and Traw as well. Just with the nature of the circuit, if you hold each other up, it costs you dearly in terms of time, and Simps is thinking about an overtake on Aces. 3 laps to go. Simps is all over the back of the Mercedes here. Look at this. And he gets a good exit, and with the Shirley, with the power of DRS, he's going to freeze past the Aces, and Aces squeezes him against the wall. Doing the Michael Schumacher on Barrichello there. But Simps gets the move done. Nicely done from Simps, and that now gives him the chance to pull away from Balix and get out of the 3-second window that Balix has over him. Balix is going to be comfortably in P2 at this stage, because Sebdek behind him has got a 3-second penalty too, and Traw is not making any inroads on these guys at the moment. Let's cut back to Balix and Sebdek now. Balix making those soft tyres work. Now Seb's on Sebdek on the soft tyres also. Balix now will have his sights set on Aces versus Kings, with VDV out the race and Traw falling down the order a little bit. This is a good opportunity for Balix to pick up some big points and put himself well and truly in the fight for the championship. He already was in the fight, but this will further emphasise his position. And Chinchilla has DNF'd from the race on track. We're not sure how. We've got a McLaren in the wall, and that's Eskimo. Not sure if that was an oversteer, understeer moment. Balix and Aces. Balix has managed to get Aces with DRS, but Aces is coming back at him. side by side through the hairpin. Balix has got the head into the outside. Beautiful move from Balix. Inside for the next corner. Textbook move. Beautifully done. Balix up into P3. So that is a minimum of a podium for him, given the penalties around him. You might want to hope that maybe Harvey picks up a penalty at the moment. Nice racing indeed, Jeff. Yeah, that was a beautiful move from Balix. Some great driving from these guys tonight. You just caught the tail end of that move, and that's the Mercedes off running wide there, picking up some dirt. Simps has managed to catch up to Harvey in the midst of all this. Harvey on the softs, so those softs beginning to wear off for Harvey. Harvey a little bit deep in the final corner there, and Simps has got the DRS on Harvey. Now, start the final lap. It doesn't really matter at this stage for Simps because he's essentially going to lose. He's not going to gain on Harvey. He's not going to be able to win the race based on the penalty, but that will allow him to pull away from Balix a little bit. It's very tight between Balix and Simps. It's 2.9. Simps needs to pull away from Balix to maintain the 3-second gap so he can keep P2. Balix is safe in P3. Sebdek has got ahead of Aces versus Kings. And now Aces is back under attack from his teammate Castro. Look at this. We've got Aces, Castro, Traw, and Sebdek. 4 cars within a second of each other. Let's keep on board with these guys as Harvey and Simps very close together, but Harvey is going to get the win on the, I think, ahead of the penalty of Simps. Harvey round the final corner of the distance. Trog going for a move around the outside. Let's stick with this battle here. It's right to the line. Trog gets a good exit. And there's 3 of them together across the line. And Castro gets up to P4 on penalties because of Sebdek and Aces. Harvey wins the race from Simps. Balix just misses out on P2 by virtue of the 3-second penalty to Simps. What a finish indeed, Jeff. That was brilliant. Castro in P4, Traw P5, Sebdek P6, Aces P7, Dacunia in P8, and Eskimo will cross the line, the last of the classified finishers here in Hungary. Simps is your driver of the day. And here comes Harvey reserving tonight. So, didn't have the best of races in Baku, but makes up for it here in Hungary. Joined on the podium by Simps and Balix. All 3 drivers strong contenders for driver of the day. And despite the incident with Harvey, which I'm sure will probably be looked at, I think Castro can be quite satisfied with P4 here. So here's the final standings here in Hungary. Royal Harvey wins from Simps and from Balix. In podium positions, Castro in P4, Traw P5, Sebdek P6, Aces P7, Dacunia P8, and Eskimo P9. Your DNFs, Chinchilla DNF'd on track after picking up a drive-through penalty. Desert Rat DNF on track. Harry Bix and VDV both DNF in the pit lane. So that is the end of round 8 and 9 of Newton League. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Hope you enjoyed the racing tonight. And to everyone who raced here tonight and is watching it back, thanks for taking part. Thank you very much, Jeffy. Nice comments. You too. Have a good night, mate. Yeah, to everyone driving, hope you had a good time, and hope you enjoyed the stream watching it back. Next time in Newton League, we are going to the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona and Monaco. Monaco first and then Spain. So Spain and Spain next week. So that's going to be interesting to call. Hope you can join us next week for that. In the meantime, I've been Scientist. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.